The darkness continues.
What do we do with? 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 People can go from sane to crazy. They just can't go from crazy to sane. The only thing they can be is less crazy. There is no going from crazy to sane. Crazy to sane. Crazy to sane. No. Once you go crazy, that's it. You can only be a little less crazy. You can't uncrack the egg. Once the egg is cracked, the yolk is out. There is no uncracking the egg, right? But what about those people? What about those? What about those? Those people who have those mental conditions? I think a lot of us don't even want to deal with them. We only want to deal with them if they're our old grandma or our old grandpa, right? They got Alzheimer's and dementia, and they weren't always like that, right? But you see those people, man. We talked about those people that you see on the side of the road. Let's be honest, some of those people are nuts. You know that guy that you see always standing at the corner at 7-Eleven? He's standing out there on the side of the road with a stick, yelling at traffic, having conversations, talking to the wind, We know who these people are. Some of these people are completely nuts. That's why they're out there. No one wants this person in their house. Would you want the person in your house who stands out there in 10-degree weather with no shoes on, a shopping cart full of empty bottles and papers and trash, with a stick in his hand yelling at traffic? Would you want to move him into your house? Of course you wouldn't. That's why he's out there. Because his brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles don't want him in their house. Just like you wouldn't want him in your house. The only difference is he's a stranger to you. He's the guy that you see every day on your way to work, standing out there with no shoes on, talking to the wind, like I said. You wouldn't move him into your house. You don't even think about getting him help. You walk right past him. You avoid him more than you avoid the dude who's standing out there begging for $5 every morning. You're not trying to help him. You don't walk around trying to help these crazy people who's standing on the side of the overpass, talking to themselves, laughing to themselves. You don't try to help these people. Because when you see them as the lost ones. Even though they're black, you see them as the lost ones, man. Now, I know many of us will never admit it. We'll never admit that we see these people as the lost ones. Absolutely not. Because we bliggity black. We're Ungawa, black power, right? Black power. So where's that Ungawa black power for the crazy man standing at 7-Eleven, talking to himself? He's black too, isn't he? Oh, but he's too crazy, right? He's too crazy for you to help him. Do you put him in your truck and drive him somewhere to get some help? No. You walk right by him. Just like you walk past a fire hydrant or a maple tree. You walk right by him. Why? Because you know he's a lost one. But would you walk by him if he was your brother? Would you walk by him if he was your father, your son, your uncle? Would you consider him a lost one then? That's what I'm talking about. Because I'll say again, even though he's not your brother, your son, your father, your uncle, your cousin, guess what? He's related to somebody. Somebody. He didn't hatch out of a damn egg. He's related to somebody. And the reason why he's out there yelling at traffic with no shoes on is because they think he's a lost one too. Right or wrong? They think he's a lost one too. If you grew up, what do we do with it? What do we do with it? Because I grew up in New York, right? And everybody knows that New York, when it came to dope, crack, and all that shit, New York was hit hard as hell, especially my hometown. And man, that dope had people, they turned into completely different people. And some people used it so much till they literally went crazy. They became the lost ones. They became the crazy crackhead that you see walking around, who hasn't bathed in weeks, shaved in months. You see him every other day with the same clothes on. What about those people? You ever put those people in your car? You ever pick one of them up and try to give them help? You ever stop and try to convince them to go into the rehab? Have you? I know the answer. No. But if that's your sister, that's your mama, if that's your daughter, you done tried to help her, right? Because she's different. She's different than the others, according to you. Right. But guess what? When people see her, they say the same things about her that you say about someone else's sister, someone else's mama. It's no different because it's your sister or your mama. Because when other people see them, they think the same way you think. It's not different for you. Just like you see other people's lost brother, lost sister, lost mama, daddy, uncle, cousin, nephew, niece. Guess what? When people see it, and those people are related to you, guess what? They're saying the same shit. Don't ever think because this person is related to you that they on some different fucking level. Because more than likely, they might be worse than the damn dope head you see out in the world. They might be worse. But because they're related to you, they're somehow different, right? That's stupid. And it's not realistic either. But I'm just saying, I think we got to get away from thinking that somehow a person being related to us somehow fucking spares them from the cruelties of life. That's not how it works, people. Because I say again, that crazy man that you see on the corner, carrying a stick, yelling at traffic, with no shoes on, he didn't hatch out of an egg. He had a mama. He had a pappy. And guess what? He might have had brothers and sisters, maybe kids, before he lost his mind. Right. But no one wants to think of it that way. As long as we can keep these things at a distance, we think it somehow negates what we see. I don't know why we think like that. I don't know why we could never think past our own selves, our own lives, our own images, our own anything. Especially when you're talking about mental illness. 16% of black folks, 7 million people, 7 million of us have reported having a mental illness within the past year. You trying to tell me these 7 million people ain't related to nobody? They're all in this compound, all on their own, all 7 million of them, right? No. Some of these 7 million is your damn mammy, your damn pappy, your brother, your sister, your son, your daughters. And like I said, it's easy to talk about this stuff when you're thinking it ain't connected to you. But a lot of this shit is connected to you. And that's what we need to think about. That's what we need to consider when we talk about the lost one, the lost one, the lost one. And I say again, I've been asking, what do we do with it? What do we do with it? What do we do with it? You know, like I said, we always talking about these people who gonna be left behind, and we need to get away from them, and we need to get with people with like minds, and we need to go, we need to build, we need to do all this stuff. But those people that get left behind, some of those people are gonna be your people, my people, my people, my people, my people, my people. Some of your mama's gonna get left behind. Some of your daddy's gonna be left behind. Your sons, your daughters, your sisters, your brothers, they gonna get left behind. Because guess what? Some of them are lost ones. My family, your family, other people you know family. What do we do with it? What do we do with part of the lost ones? Puts a new spin on it when you think about it like that, right? Doesn't seem so easy to do when you think about it like that, right? The question is, are you one of the lost ones? Am I? Who decides? Who decides? Are the lost ones just the mentally ill, the dope heads, the bums, the homeless, the idiots, the criminal, the incarcerated, the losers in the hood? Or is it people like us? You know, the mechanics, the plumbers, the electricians, the carpenters, the truck drivers. Because we look at them, right, and we're like, oh man, these people are lost, man. They ain't got nothing going on in their life. They don't own a house. They don't own vehicles. They don't have no money. They're living in a tent. They walk around all day talking to themselves, eating out the garbage can. This person's lost, right? But what about the people who have way more than you and I? The millionaires, the billionaires. They probably think we're the lost ones, right? No, these people are nothing. He's just a mechanic. He's just an electrician. He's just a truck driver. He's just a plumber. We may be the lost ones. They may throw us right in the bag with the bum and the crazy man at 7-Eleven. The people living in Tent City. The people living in the freaking projects, in the ghetto. They may lump us in there too, right? So who decides? Who decides who the lost ones are? Who decides who gets left behind? My answer is nobody. My answer is nobody. You know why? Because when the time comes, and I really believe this, when the time comes and everybody's running, I think those who are able to run will run. The ones who are not able, they ain't gonna be able to run because they can't. They can't run. I don't think it's gonna be nobody out there with a pointer. You go, you go, you go, you go. Nope, nope, nope. When people start moving, it's gonna be self-selection. Gonna be self-selection. There ain't gonna be nobody out there with a clipboard. And a lot of the people who talk that leave some people behind gonna fuck around and get left behind themselves. They're gonna get left behind themselves, a lot of them. For the simple fact that they're nowhere near capable as they think they are. They're not as valuable as they think they are. They're not as needed as they think they are. Just because you say you're one of something, or part of something, or great at something, doesn't make it true. Just because you say it. Because it's easy to get up here and talk about how great you are and how much shit you know. And that's great. That's great. But what can you really do when the time comes? When the time comes. When the time comes. When the time comes. When the time comes. What do we do with? 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 What do we do with?
The darkness continues. Open your minds.
Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your mind.